This is your wheelhouse, mister.
A-Speeds.
No, it's your wheelhouse.
I'm supposed to be funny now?
Yes.
We need to hire, like, a comic to come for just,
Carl
like,
Pilkington.
just do, like, a 5-minute set right before
We need
you
to hire Carl Pilkington. Yeah. What else do I find really funny? Oh, the guys from My Dad Wrote a Porno need to come.
I'm binging with Babish.
That's Nathan. Thanks for spoiling my video.
They can't hear us right now.
Why not?
Because it's not on YouTube. We're not live.
Yeah, I know, but this will be included because you hate me and you always include my bloopers. Everyone's going to get really offended at me swearing at you. No, but my grandparents watch these videos.
Yes! Your grandparents are on my side.
It's very hard for them.
Love you, Pete Muir.
Now it's going to be weird when I tell you why I've been gone for so long. Because I just spent the first however long of the video. And I've got a hair in my mouth. You can tell that I'm really not good at this anymore. But I just spent the last few minutes of the video laughing. But the reason why I've been away for so long is very, very bad health of the mental variety. I have been going through a lot these past few months, and it's all been, well, most of it has been kind of shitty and stressful and lifey and very boring to say on video. I was evacuated from my house last night again because of the California wildfires, and I think not too long ago I was talking to you about the fires in my house, maybe like 2 videos ago. That was only a couple months ago that this already happened. Luckily I wasn't there then and didn't get evacuated, but last night I was home alone, got evacuated. If you don't know this about me, I am physically disabled, and so that was a really fun thing. Luckily I'm home now, as you can see, but that is just one of the many unfortunate things that have transpired over the past couple of months, and I don't think I want to subject my lovely YouTube audience to a miserable me trying to make sense about books and media that I've been enjoying, so I did not sit in front of the camera and make a video. But thank you so much to all those of you who are watching this and stayed with me, and most of you who have stayed with me probably know that I am not famous for my consistency when it comes to YouTube, because let's just put it this way, I prefer I prefer quality over quantity, and I think Happy Vix is a nicer Vix to be around. So those of you that are good with that, thank you so much. I love you. Those of you who aren't probably aren't even listening to this, so I don't really know who I'm talking to, but trust me, I know myself and I'm right. Anyway, so I think we're going to talk about some stuff that I have been loving recently, because in amongst the bad mental health, there is always something left to love, and I should make a career making shitty inspirational Instagram pictures, because that was like disgusting and hippy dippy, but I have been loving some stuff and I want to share it with you. So this is going to be a weird mishmash of stuff, but let's go on this ride together. That is a moth. Fuck you, moth. Let's start with 2 miscellaneous favourites that have nothing to do with books, because we all know that my favourite thing on this channel is to be on brand and also be really sarcastic. So first of all, I'm going to tell you about my favourite trip that I've taken recently, which was to New York. We stayed in our favourite area of New York, which is Williamsburg, Brooklyn, which I absolutely adore, and which, it's a secret, but I would love to move to sometime in early 2019. That is the aim for 2018, is to hustle so that we can get out of this city that always seems to burn down and go to a city where we might freeze to death. That sounds good, I think. But anyway, we had a wonderful trip and I actually recorded some stuff, so I might insert some of that footage here. I was supposed to show you guys going to a bookstore in Brooklyn, which I love, which is called Word. If you're ever in Brooklyn, New York, you should visit that. Repping independent bookstores all the time. It is so amazing, and the people in there are very lovely. But I didn't end up going to that bookstore because I never do anything that I say I'm going to do. So instead, I just ate a lot, like of ice cream, and I drank chocolate beer, and I went to this really fancy chocolate shop and bought like a really overpriced bar of chocolate, but also tried really amazing chocolate. This is apparently non-alcoholic chocolate beer, so I'm gonna do a taste test. That's crazy. It tastes like chocolate, but it's like not sweet. That's so good. And I also drank really, really, really good coffee. The coffee in New York is just like absolutely amazing. I don't know why, because I always have my coffee iced, which they say that you should be in hot climates to have good iced coffee, but I've had the best in New York. I might just be romanticizing, but I promise you, I don't believe in the geographical cure. I just had a really, really good trip. We got some good writing done. We're working on some projects and we did a lot of writing there. And yeah, have I mentioned the food is really good in New York? So we're gonna go for some yummy sushi and then some ice cream. And we're actually gonna toast to my year on BookTube, which has just passed. Somehow we made like 27 videos in a year, so I feel like that's something to celebrate. Happy birthday, Bilingual Bookworm! Anyway, it was a wonderful trip. We were celebrating various anniversaries. Being married is also a great thing. And I just wanted to share with you some of the stuff I got during that trip. The second Misc thing, I always want to say Misc instead of miscellaneous, is something I have been absolutely adoring recently. Honestly, I don't know what my life was without it. It is this right here, wonderful Tiffany blue aqua coloured mini fridge that I have put in my room, which honestly I think is one of the most beautiful objects I own, not only because it's so cute and goes really well in my bedroom, but also because it is just so useful. That spoonie life, if you don't know what a spoonie is, you should look up the spoon theory to describe chronic illness. It's a great theory and I use it to describe my energy reserves to a lot of friends and people I love. And having a mini fridge in my room means that I don't have to go and get food and drink from the kitchen. And as a person who spends a lot of time home alone because I work from home and I am not able to drive, and Los Angeles is kind of a complicated city when you're not able to drive, this has just saved my life. I love having loads of snacks stocked up in it, loads of drinks, and I just love looking over at it from my bed because it looks really pretty and it makes me happy. So I wanted to share with you, it's got a really weird name. What's the brand? Daewoo. I don't know, sounds very exciting. So if you want to look that up, maybe for like a Christmas gift or something to save up for, then I highly recommend it. Then the third thing is a YouTube favorite. I'm so excited to bring this to you because if you don't know, I have a bit of an obsessive personality. Like when I like something, I really, really, really like it. You probably know that if you've listened to any of my book reviews. When I adore a book, I really love it. And that's the same with most things. And recently I have watched most all of this YouTuber's videos just because they give me so much joy. The channel name is Binging with Babish, and let me just tell you that if you are in any way interested in food, a foodie, you like cooking shows and recipes, and also you happen to be interested in movies and TV shows, and maybe as a bonus you like good camera work, which I strive for on this channel. If you like all of those things, I can almost promise you that you will adore this channel, and even more so if you like kind of sarky humour. Yeah, just a lot of fun. Binging with Babish is a channel run by a guy called Andrew Raya, and basically what he does is cook recipes from famous movies and TV shows. So he'll watch a TV show or a movie and he'll pick out anytime they talk about food in any extended way or show a recipe or eat something, he will make it, and he takes requests from his audience. And sometimes those things are absolutely ridiculous, like Rachel's trifle from Friends, if you remember that, with raspberry jam and peas and beef or whatever it is, in which case he'll make it, eat it, be disgusted by it, and then try and make a somewhat palatable version that you can try at home. Or he'll make something that's already really good, like the ratatouille from Ratatouille. There's loads of things that he makes that are already good, but he makes them really well, and he makes them in a way that you can learn from. And he's also just really funny. So I highly recommend it. He also has a series on his channel called Basics with Babish, where he cooks things that aren't necessarily from TV shows or movies, but just shows you how to make the basics and really build your arsenal if you want to be a better cook. I don't know what it is about the Christmas season, but I get really into cooking shows. Maybe it's because that's when they all seem to be on TV. Right now I'm watching MasterChef The Professionals, and I've been watching Nigella at My Table, which is also really glorious. I wasn't going to recommend it in this video, but I can't not, because I love her. I think both my husband and I are equally in love with her. She's amazing, and I love her attitude to food, and yeah, I've been loving it. So who doesn't want to eat at Christmas? So I thought Binging with Babish would be a good recommendation. He's also got a cookbook out, which if you like the series, maybe it might be a good Christmas present. Moving swiftly on, watch Binging with Babish. It's really good. Also, 10 points to whoever can tell me why the YouTube name is Binging with Babish. He named himself after Oliver Babish. Do not Google it. Tell me if you recognize that name and where it's from. And if you do, then you will win something. I've decided this right now. You will win something. You can give me your address wherever you are in the world. I will send you a present for being so smart as to know who Oliver Babish is and where he comes from. Who's going to win the contest? Okay, moving swiftly on. Wait.
Swiftly.
Okay. Wait, I need a prop for this.
What do you need? What do you need? What do you need?
A book.
Any book?
It's here. I'm gonna read from it, so just need to find the
This
page.
is some riveting footage we have right now.
Just shut up, okay? People are gonna think that I literally abuse you.
Help the internet.
Oh shit, I really thought it was, Wait, can you turn it off, please? Next up is the content that you guys all come here for. So I'm sorry if I bored you for the last hour and a half with non-book related recommendations, but it is a book recommendation. Now, one of the things that I have still managed to do, despite all of the yucky things in mental health, is read, which I'm so grateful for, because other periods in my life, which I've spoken about before on this channel, have prevented me from reading when I've been in too much of a brain fog. This really hasn't been the case here. I've been doing a lot of reading and a lot of really critical reading, and I've read loads of really interesting things. I'm not even going to bother saying that I will talk to you about all those books soon, because every time I seem to say that, something happens and I don't come back soon, but I will talk to you about all these books soon. I promise. Ugh, shit, I shouldn't have said that. I don't promise at all. I do want to talk to you about all of them soon, because I've read amazing books. Quick shout outs, without reviews, to Tin Man by Sarah Winman, which I loved. I have not cried a book like that ever. I just kept crying on and off, like, for the whole night that I read it. It was amazing. I will probably do a single review. I loved it. And then also quick shout out to Turtles All the Way Down by John Green. I know that not everyone on BookTube reads YA. I know that not everyone on BookTube is a John Green fan. I happen to be. I think his books are great. Turtles All the Way Down spoke to me about mental health and my own mental health on a level that a book never has done before. I also wept at the end of it. Can you see a pattern with how I've been doing? But no, I loved it. I think it was well worth the wait between that and The Fault in Our Stars, and I think it's his best book yet. And I will also probably be talking more about it. But if you want an idea of how the thoughts in my brain that loop around and around and around feel, you should read that book and let me know what you think. That being said, right now, here today, I am going to recommend to you probably the best book, if not the joint best book, that I have read in the whole time I've been away. And that is All My Puny Sorrows by Miriam. Now, I've been pronouncing this wrong. I would have said Toews, but I think it's Toews because the Canadians are crazy. I adored this book. I had high hopes, but I had never read anything by her, and I had never really heard of this book, even though I then read up on it later and it's won a bunch of prizes and was overall really successful. So I was kind of taken by surprise by just how much I loved it. We follow two sisters named Elf and Yoli. Yoli's this kind of overworked, overwrought woman, two kids with two different men. She is from a rural town near Manitoba, I think, in Canada. She's of Mennonite descent and she has lost her father to suicide. And her sister, Elf, is a really famous concert pianist who also has struggled for a long time with suicidal thoughts and actions, and is currently in hospital fighting for her life. So yeah, trigger warning for suicide stuff obviously, but with that kind of elevator pitch, you might think that this would be a really, really, really depressing book, and it is really sad, but it's also really funny and really heartwarming and really fucking true, which is why I loved it so much. It does not sugarcoat mental health problems. It does not sugarcoat suicidal ideation. It is one of the most beautiful portrayals of a sister relationship I've ever read, and when I finished it, it just made me want to hug my twin sister really hard. It explores really interesting topics, especially if you're interested in mental health. How does a family cope with another family member having suicidal thoughts or making attempts on their life? Is it the responsibility of the family to quote unquote save that person's life? And when does it become actually not the right thing to do to try and keep them alive? And when are they sick enough, if there is a point where they're sick enough, for death to be the better option? This book is semi-autobiographical, and you can tell that. She writes about the sister relationship in a way that is raw and touching and real. It is just a complete masterpiece. And like I said, I laughed, which I really didn't expect to do. It's not drab. You have these kind of snapshots of memories of the sisters growing up together in their Mennonite upbringing, which was kind of strange and unlike any other. They rebel against that upbringing in a lot of ways. They're both creative, which is kind of looked down on by that community. And you really get just like a very rich feeling for these two sisters and the love that they have for each other and the rest of the family. We grapple with the question of whether suffering is passed down through generations, this kind of intergenerational depression. Is depression a thing that runs through people's veins almost in a genetic way, but also backed to like your ancestry, which I personally think is really interesting. How far is it a situational thing versus a genetic thing, and what does that mean about sadness if it really does run through your veins, and how far back has that been in your family and in your existence? I could talk forever about this book, but because it's a video with loads of recommendations, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to read to you this bit I found particularly beautiful. Elf, who is the suicidal sister who is the concert pianist, she talks about living with her piano inside of her. Then Elf tells me she has a glass piano inside her. She's terrified that it'll break. She can't let it break. She tells me that it's squeezed right up against the lower right side of her stomach, that sometimes she can feel the hard edges of it pushing at her skin, that she's afraid it will push through and she'll bleed to death, but mostly she's terrified that it will break inside her. I ask her what kind of piano it is, and she tells me that it's an old upright Heinzmann that used to be a player piano, but that the player mechanism has been removed, and the whole thing has been turned into glass, even the keys, everything. When she hears bottles being thrown into the back of a garbage truck, or wind chimes, or even a certain type of bird singing, she immediately thinks it must be the piano breaking. A child laughed this morning, she says. A little girl here, visiting her father, but I didn't know it was laughter. I thought it was the sound of glass shattering, and I clutch my stomach, thinking, oh no, this is it. I nod and smile and tell her that I'd be terrified of breakage too if I had a glass piano inside me. So you understand? She asks. I do, I say. I honestly do. I mean, what would happen if it broke? Thank you, Yoli. Hey, are you hungry? I ask her. Is there anything I can do for you? She smiles. No, nothing. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I read it at the right time. It's hopeful. It's heartbreaking. It's wonderful. You should read it. The penultimate thing I want to talk to you about is music. If you don't know this about me, I've almost always got music on. I love it. It's a great source of comfort for me, and I have found a new favourite band, which is so exciting. So what else would I do than share it with the 900 odd of you who choose to listen to my face. The band is called Kaleo, and they're an Icelandic... I don't know, I'm really bad at describing genres of music. It's like bluesy rock, and they have loads of songs in Icelandic, and who knew that Icelandic's a really beautiful language, and they have this one song that is like a lullaby to me. And so if you like really nice melodies and kind of like rocky bluesy guitar with a lot of heart and soul without being like country-ish, because it's not, then you should listen to Kaleo. It came up on my Pandora station, and now I try and sing along in Icelandic, which is sure interesting. Alexa, shuffle songs by Kaleo.
Shuffling songs by Claire.
Oh wow, that's not... Alexa, stop. Play Kaleo.
Sweet Bergamasque.
Oh.
By Francois
Okay.
Joël Violier.
Alexa, play Way Down We Go by Kaleo.
Way Down We Go by Kaleo.
Oh, Father, tell me we get what we deserve. Oh, we get what we deserve. And where down we go, 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 go. Oh, where down we go, 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 go. So where down we go, go, go. Way down we go.
So anyway, yes, good music. And then to finish, a couple of movies that I have loved recently. Everyone and their mother, at least here in Los Angeles, is talking about how good Lady Bird is. I'm not sure if it's out in England yet, but the second it comes out, you should go and see it. It's Greta Gerwig's writer and director debut. Greta Gerwig is an actress who's been in a bunch of Noah Baumbach movies. She's really awesome. If you haven't seen Frances Ha, you should watch it. Lady Bird is a kind of coming of age mother-daughter story, which just doesn't miss a beat. It's almost perfect. The dialogue is brilliant. It's a love letter to Greta Gerwig's own growing up in Sacramento and the kind of true ordinariness of that and the romance that lives in the ordinary. I loved it. We should all support films about women made by women, and that's why that film made me so happy. But I am going to give a bit of love to a film that I guess fewer people are talking about, although I suspect that it will be up for many, many Oscars, and that is Sean Baker's film, The Florida Project, which I saw many weeks ago and I am still thinking about. I absolutely love it. We follow Mooney, who is a very, very small girl, probably about, I don't know, 5 or 6 years old. And she lives in a motel with her mother, and the motel is called the Magic Castle, aptly named because it is very near Florida's Disneyland. And it's a very grim motel, despite being painted in pretty pastel colours. The film is kind of about the people who live in that motel, who are kind of the fringes of American society. It's about poverty in America through the eyes of children, and the things that they see and don't see in terms of the hardships of that, and the world of beauty and colour and play and fun that they can create around themselves, despite the frankly horrible things that their parents have to go through. It is one of the best films I've seen in the past 5 years. I loved it. It breaks film convention in about 17,000 ways. It looks beautiful. William Dafoe is like a total genius in it. I loved it. It gave me kind of the same feeling as the best books that I've read that feature child narrators, like My Name is Leon, where a bunch of really adult and really hard to deal with things are happening around the kid, and the entire piece of media is focused on how the kid deals with that and how the things that they understand and the things that they don't about what's happening to the people that they love, and how they kind of assimilate the world around them based on what they understand, and how crucially how that changes throughout the movie as they grow and as they get older, even if it's only by a few months. It's not patronizing at all. A lot of people who make movies about the people on the fringes, and specifically about poverty in America and poverty in other countries, end up being really patronizing. It's hard not to. These movies have loads of money behind them, and there's something a bit weird about that. But for me, this did justice to the problem that America has with wealth inequality, and was a really good mirror into how some people in this country are living compared to the people who are literally sitting on piles of money. So there you go, The Florida Project and Lady Bird. I hope you enjoy both of those things, and if you have seen them or do see them, I would love you to come back underneath this video and start a conversation. I would be happy to talk films and books with you until the cows come home. I hate you. And that is it, you guys. This was weird. I'm kind of rusty, and I hope I don't have to say that at the end of the next video. It's getting kind of old. Part of the reason why I haven't shot as well is because my trusty cameraman has been away a lot with work, and I feel like I haven't seen him a lot over the past 5 or 6 months, which is not cool, but we started long distance, so we're good. But one of the good things is that I am soon going home for Christmas. When I say home, I mean London. This is also home. I have a weird life. But I am soon going home for Christmas, and he is coming with me, and we're going to spend about a month to a month and a half together. And we are taking our friend the camera, and I look forward to making a lot more stuff for you. In the meantime, I hope you enjoyed this weird mishmash of a video, and I hope you find at least one thing that might become your new obsession. Let me know. I love each and every one of you. Thank you for all your messages on Twitter, and those of you who've watched old videos while I've been away. I'm really, really grateful. I've been watching all of you guys. I might not be there commenting, but I am watching, and I know what you guys are up to, and it makes me really happy. Keep safe, keep happy, keep reading, and stay away from the fires, I guess. Speak to you soon. Bye. Alexa, play Sia's Christmas album.
Christmas by Michael Bublé.
Okay, that works too. Oh.
Does it have lots of pictures of his forearms?
Oh my god, okay, you guys. We're having some trouble in paradise. Okay, you guys know that my husband and I love each other very much. I moved from England to be with him in Los Angeles. He is my favorite person. But because I have an obsessive personality, and because I've been watching lots of Binging with Babish, which by the way he enjoys, he just pretends not to, he is experiencing some jealousy. He calls Andrew Ray my YouTube crush, which I don't think is true. So yeah, stay tuned for if that gets better. I'm not going to stop watching Binging with Babish. He's just gonna have to deal with his jealousy. I think it's because in the videos you don't see his face, you just see his arms working because he wants to focus on the cooking. And I once made the mistake of telling my husband that I find anyway, let's not have this conversation. It's fine. The forearm is an attractive part of the body. So I made the mistake of telling him this one day, and now he thinks that I'm obsessed with this guy's forearms. Moving swiftly on.